Hi students, so welcome to my lecture 2. This will be my official video recording since I've noticed that most of you cannot enter my Zoom class in the real time. So I have devised a way to record my lecture so that in your own convenience, you will be able to um, repeat the videos as much as possible to understand what I'm trying to give informations to you. So that in your own convenience, maka-learn man ka mo sang aton nga lecture. So this will supplicate our virtual meetings or real-time meetings. So, ilimit na because some of you wala man data kag pila lang man makasulod sa akon 15 students out of 35 students. So, to give benefit to those people nga hindi maka-join sa aton meeting. Okay. And if the lecture is too long, probably I will cut the video and make it part 1 and part 2 of the lecture so that it will save space and it will not consume more uploading data inyo para gamay lang ang gasto natin sa internet connection. Okay, so I would like to share my screen so that we can start already with our lecture 2. And some sort of review from the chapter 1. We already discussed the introduction of art in the lecture 1. So we have discussed the art definition and the elements of the art, and there are 7 of them. And those elements are the main ingredient or the main composition of an artwork. Without those elements, we cannot consider the art as an art. So in lecture 2, we have this creativity, imagination, and expression as an artist. So what is this? According to John Paul Sartre, the role of art as a creative work is to depict the world in a completely different light and perspective. John Paul is a French playwright and an artist as well, so he's very known for his poets or poetry. So Hambalya, each work beholds beauty in its own kind, the kind that the artist sees and wants to viewers to perceive. So he talks about creativity on its originality, the way the artist wanted to give or to share to the audience. So it's a completely different light and perspective if you're going to check the artwork of the artist and if tagaan mo gid analysis. More often than not, people are blind to this beauty, and only those who have developed a fine senses of appreciation can experience and see the art the way the artist did. In some point, some people doesn't have this kind of appreciation. That's the reason why there is this subject is developed by the Chen to to give you sense of art appreciation to an object, a simple object such as say the ones you see every day in your life, no? Gripo nyo da, ang maligo ka mo, ang kabo, ang balde, no? Those are works of art nga gina-neglect naton, but there's a beauty in it, there's a purpose in it. No? That's uh, that's used in everyday life. So without those artists nga nag-ubra sila ang kabo, ang balde, we cannot salud-salud tubig, di ba? So there is what you call an appreciation to little things, and every little things has its own purpose. So lain-lain na aton pag-develop sang appreciation. Only those people who have those fine senses and sense of sensibility to appreciate little things or objects. Learning to appreciate, no matter what vocation or profession you have, will lead to a fuller and more meaningful life. It doesn't mean only artists can appreciate art itself. Uh, it doesn't mean man ya kung engineer ka, you cannot appreciate art. You will appreciate art regardless of your vocation or ano man gid ang obra mo. Wala na iga matter because there is an innate artist in within ourselves. You just have to develop those traits or skills. So the role of creativity in art making, what is this? Creativity requires thinking outside the box. So meaning, it, there's what you call uniqueness in every art. So kung ikaw is a artist, you will not be settling for a common type of art or artwork. You just have to think outside the box. What is unique in my artwork? What separates my art to other artists? So that's thinking outside the box. Ano pa akong pwede ma-improve? What are the things that my art needs to have in order to become more attractive to people? In art, creativity is what sets apart one artwork from another. So there is what you call distinctive uh, uh, traits of an artist to his or her art. When we uh, when can we say that something is creative? When we have not seen anything like it, when it is out of the ordinary, and when it is not just copy or imitation of someone's work. We can say that the art is creative when there is, take note, when there is an originality behind those art. Wala ka pa nakita. It's extraordinary. Wala may pariwo sila. So that is creative. Nowadays, being creative can be quite challenging because there are some artists already nga damo na gid artist sa Philippines. So for example pa lang, sa aton pa lang sa Philippines. How much more outside the Philippines? Art is a product of imagination. Imagination is a product of art. So it's vice versa. According to Albert Einstein, imagination is more important than knowledge. For knowledge is limited to all we now know and understand, while imagination embraces the entire world and all there will ever will to be known and to understand. So art starts with an imagination. The critical thinking of an artist to make an art. There is an approach or there is a plan to 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 imagine an artwork. Wala pa na obra but imagination pa lang. Imagination is not constrained by the walls of the norm but goes beyond. Uh, that's the same as thinking outside the box. Through imagination, one is able to craft something bold, something new, and something better in the hopes of creating something that will stimulate change. So the goal of the artist is to give um, to give different flavor to or to stimulate change of the minds of the audience. Oh wow, that's different from other artworks. In artist's mind sits a vast gallery of artwork. So I want you to bear that in mind in your mind because you will become artist in this semester. So you must have this vast gallery of artworks in your mind, plans to be creative and uh, to be more original in your artwork. An artwork does not need to be real thing but can be something that is imaginary. So everything starts with imagination, a plan in your mind. However, something imaginary does not necessarily mean it cannot be called art. Artists use their imagination that gives birth to reality through creation. So out of those creative thinking or imagination, you will put that into a practice, and that product will become your art. In the same way that imagination produces art, art also inspires imagination. It's a vice versa. Because when you do the product already, when someone sees the product, there are imaginations that will go to the audience and will try to create his or her own art sa iyang nakita sa imong art. So it will become a cycle of artist imaginations. That's why art is never ending. Wala siya ga-end to someone's art. What are the things that I can improve in that certain art? So that's how imagination in art works. Art as an expression. What an artist does to an emotion is not to induce it, but express it. Through expression, he is able to explore his own emotion and at the same time create something beautiful out of them. That's according to Collingwood, Robin George. According to Robin George, it is meant to express. It is the art is not meant to keep within ourselves. It is uh, it is the expression of someone's imagination, creative imagination, to give to other people and to inspire other people that you created something beautiful out of them. Expressing emotions is different from describing emotions. This makes people art not a reflection of what is outside or internal to them, but a reflection of their inner selves. That's the reason why when you produce an artwork, it also gives an impression that your artwork is your emotion as well, because out of those emotions, you have able to create an art out of that emotion. Visual arts, no? Creation that fall under this category are those that appeals to the sense of sight and are mainly visual in nature. These visual arts are mainly paintings and produced and appreciated by our eyes. Artists produce visual arts driven by desire to produce things that they have seen in the way that they perceive them. What are those examples of visual arts? Paintings, photography, those pictures that was created or was taken beautifully by the photographers. So we can consider photographers as a visual artist or artist. There are also other artistic disciplines that also involve a visual aspect, such as performance art, theaters, and applied arts. Some medium of art, visual arts include painting, drawing, lettering, printing, sculpture, and digital imaging. So may mga kilala ka mga visual artists that falls under the applied art. And some people are venturing into performance arts or theater that becomes their art as expression, no? Because some people doesn't have talents in drawings. However, they have talents in expressing themselves in terms of their body gestures. That's the reason why dancing and singing is a form of visual arts, because people are trying to depict what the artist or the dancer is trying to give or to perform as an art. So we can consider those artists as those dancers as artists as well. Film refers to the art of putting together a succession of still images in order to create an illusion of movement. So ang film is the creation is created by putting a lot of image still photos. And before film was invented, there is only what you call still photos or photography lang. pictures lang. But the moment yung ginupod mo ang a lot of burst images, still photos, it created a movement. For example, a waving of hand. Kung gaamo ka na, usually photo lang na. Pero kung gin-repeated moving mo, pag burst shot mo na, it will create a video-like uh, uh, image. So that's how film was created. Filmmaking focuses on aesthetic, cultural, and social value and is considered both an art and in an industry. So, subong do na mo, nag-obra film. No? There are indie films already. People who are aspiring to become filmmakers. So, damo naman people venture into those things because it's very pleasing to the eyes. It's very fulfilling when you create something out of your passion. Techniques in filmmaking processes, motion picture camera, also known as movie cams or digicams pa na sa una. Computer-generated imagery, mga GIF, no? Animation techniques. So those are incorporated in the film. Filmmaking stimulates experiences or create one that is beyond the scope of our imagination as it aims to deliver ideas, feeling, beauty in its viewer. In film, there is a story behind those movements of the people. How I wish I will talk separately about film and photography because this is my passion. Performance art. Let's go na sa performance art. Performance art is a live art and the artist medium is mainly the human body. Amo na ginamba ko kagina, some people doesn't have the talent to explore on the drawing, sketches, and paintings, but they have this ability to give beautiful art within their bodies. So that's performance art or theater later. So ang body nila, ginagamit nila in such a way it gives an art, no, such as visual art, props, and sounds. Elements of performance art, we have time where the performance took place and the performer's body. So, mo gina ang kilala sa isa ka performance art. Dapat may time, may ara place, may ara siya medium, ang medium which is the performance body or ang body ang ginagamit. Relationship between the audience and performers as well. So subong gina-record naman lang ang mga performances, no need for live acts. Pero lain gid ang feelings ng live acts because there is a pressure between the artist to perform the act na hindi na masulit because that is live. So it requires a diligent practice na sulit-sulit to master the steps or the movements. The fact that performance art is live makes it intangible. That's what I'm saying, which means it cannot be bought or traded as a commodity. So that's why it's very costly to go into a live concert than buying a movie disc na ready-made na. So mas mahal ang performance arts or in theater nga mga tickets if you come to think of it. Meron man poetry performance. Poetry is an art from where the artist expresses his or her emotion not by using paint, charcoal, camera, but expresses them through words. Some people doesn't have the ability to draw, to sketch, to paint, or wala siya ability to get film or good photos, or hindi man siya kabalo magsaot. But other people ventures into other form of art, which is the poetry. Sagad siya magsulat. In that way, you can consider that person as an artist also. So by reading those poetry nga ginuubraya, you can be able to appreciate the emotions in his or her poetry as an art. It uses words emotional, musical, and spatial values to go beyond its literal meaning to narrate, emphasize, argue, or convince. May mga writers gid nga sagad mga ganun, mag-play ang words, mag-stir up emotions, mga pabitin, mga suspense, mga romance, so mapakilig ta nila through creation of certain scenarios out of words. Architecture, some people are venturing into uh, precise and artistic way of creating something beautiful that is called architecture. So mostly building nila are houses and buildings. So in that way, architectures are artists as well. So what are the importance elements of architecture? We have plan, construction, and design. Those things are very essential in architecture. And we have also dance, as I've said, uh, mga dancer nga sagad mag-portray sa ila body to give expression of their selves. Choreography. So may mga dancing, may mga story, no? That's why may interpretative dance. And we have literary arts. Artists who practice literary arts use words to express themselves and communicate emotions to the reader. Ang poetry and literary art are going together, no, to make an art. So it's either literary art, poetry art. But in literary art, it focuses on poetry and other mediums. May ara siya short story, may ara siya long stories, narrative stories. But in poetry art, poetry lang gid siya na focuses sa mga poets or mga poems. Okay, may theater man ta. It's a combination of performance arts and dance. So sa theater, may ara na da live performance. So may kakanta, may gasakot. Usually live na siya ang theater. That's why it's very costly man to attend in theater acts. Applied arts are arts that incorporated elements of style. So mga applied arts are graphic designers, interior designers. Usually ang architects are applied arts man. Okay, so that ends our lecture 2. And for our LMS seat work, we have seat work number 2 prepared for you. So I want you to go to LMS. And for the rest of the week, this will be your activity. Just go to our seatworks and quizzes. Go to our subject, click the seatworks, and click the seatwork number 2. That will be available this week. So I will open the downloading of the seatwork. Then after that, please upload if once done, add submission. So that will be all for the lecture 2. I hope you learned something today. Thank you guys for listening.